Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna make the tiniest, teeniest, itty bittiest storyboard tumbler. It is 12 ounces. It's for my goddaughter. Her name is Viviana Louise. And I am gonna show you guys how to make it. So just take the acrylic cover off, the lid and the stainless steel screw-on bottom off. Okay, we're gonna put those aside so we don't lose them or they don't get damaged. And we're gonna be left with just the stainless steel tumbler itself. Okay, so what we're gonna do before anything is prep it. Okay, we're gonna prep it, we're gonna sand it, get that polish off, get it nice and scuffed up, and then once we have it completely sanded, we're gonna wipe it down with alcohol in a paper towel, and then I'm gonna show you guys how we're gonna tape it off so that we can spray paint it. I'm very excited. This was so fun to make. And the way I'm doing it this time is so much better than the way I did my very first storyboard tumbler. So I can't wait to walk you guys through the process. I'm just gonna use some painter's tape to tape off the bottom part. I don't wanna get any paint on this particular part, so I'm just gonna cover it up with some painter's tape. I also wanna tell you guys that I'm so freaking dedicated to you guys. I am literally in the car with my husband. We are on the way to the airport. I'm going on a much needed vacation for a week with my best friend and my god babies and her husband, my brother from another mother. And so if there's a lot of noise in the background, I'm so sorry. I'm doing my best to make sure that you guys still have your video. I don't want to leave you guys hanging, okay? So just bear with me in the background noise. So we're gonna tape off the very top part. Technically, I didn't really have to tape that part off because I ended up painting it anyway, but this is just the way I'm used to doing it, so I just went ahead and taped it off. Okay, and then I just put a little sponge on the inside and I went and I painted it white, okay? I did white because I really wanted the fabric that I'm gonna use to pop. Fabric is kind of translucent, transparent, so if you don't like spray paint your tumbler white, the fabric is not going to be as vibrant as it could be, okay? So this is a really cute fabric that I got at Joann. My sweet little goddaughter is obsessed with the Mickeys and the Minnies of the world, and so I just really wanted to make her something super duper cute and special and customized specifically for her. So this is, as soon as I saw this fabric, I was like, oh, my sweet Louise would love this. So here we go. Let's put it on the tumbler. So anytime that you're going to wrap a fabric, no. Hold on. Let me take it back. Anytime you're going to wrap a tumbler in fabric, you always want to kind of wrap the fabric around to make sure that you're going to have enough. Also, something to pay attention to is look at the pattern of the fabric and think about what parts you absolutely do not want to cut off, and then go from there, because I always make sure that the seam is going to be somewhere where it's not going to be covering like a super important, like vital part of the fabric. Look at me saying vital like I know what I'm talking about. I'm just a peasant with a freaking 99-cent YouTube channel. Oh, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take Mod Podge. I linked in the description the one that I'm using, and I'm gonna take a fine bristle brush. Ooh, say that 10 times fast. Fine bristle brush, fine bristle brush. And we are gonna do very thin coats of Mod Podge, and then we're gonna slowly adhere our fabric section by section. I kind of had to maneuver this fabric around a little bit because the tumbler is super duper tapered. So I mean, you know, so like I was trying to make sure that I didn't stretch it too much and that it didn't look like it was crooked and all of that good stuff. And I basically just went around the entire tumbler section by section, applying the fabric. Guys, it's so cute. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And I'm actually, obviously you guys already know I'm on my way to the airport, but I am going to give Viviana Louise this tumbler when I see her in person, and I'm so excited to see her reaction. She hasn't seen it, doesn't know I'm making it for her. Every time I see her on FaceTime, she asks me for a cup. So I'm making her this one, and I think she's gonna love it. Oh, I can't wait for you. Like, I'm so excited. I know you guys already know what the tumbler looks like because I always post them before I release my video, But, you know, still, I don't know, I get excited. You guys want to know, like, I know some people that do YouTube, they don't post the pictures of their tumblers until the day of the tutorial, but you want to know why I don't do that? You know, like when you watch an Olive Garden commercial or like a Wendy's commercial or whatever, and your mouth waters and you get so excited and you can't get that image out of your head, so you're like super duper excited about it, or maybe that just happens to me, right? So I like to show you guys what's coming the next day so you can get excited, so you can get pumped up, so you can get your alcohol and your pork rinds and freaking chill. Grab your Crocs, take them off 4-wheel drive. No need to be sitting up like that. Like, take them off 4-wheel drive, kick back, relax, get some taco socks, and just chill. So that's why I like to give you guys a heads up of what I'm making. I hope you guys like that. But anyway, I know this fabric job that I'm doing right now looks a little ghetto, and you're right. You're right. But it's only because, I don't know, that's just the way I'm wired, I guess. But my most important thing was to be able to have a very smooth fabric application. And like I said, because of the like deep tapered, like how the cup gets skinnier, so much skinnier at the bottom, it was like wrinkling up. So I had to start pulling the fabric at an angle to make it smooth, like kind of the way I'm doing here. Hopefully that makes sense, you guys. Like, English is freaking hard. I can barely get normal words out. I don't even know who told me that I could teach anybody anything and have a YouTube video, because I'm like, okay guys, you're gonna get the thingy with a little flap, and then you're gonna put it over here, and then the thingy magingy, you're gonna cut it with the scissors, right? Like, who gave me the right? Like, I'm just waiting for YouTube to come ban me. But anyway, guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut the excess fabric at the rim. And something that I want to show you guys for this particular tumbler is I am going to remove a little bit of the fabric that's just underneath that very top part right there where the fabric meets that little flappy overlay thingy, because I want to make sure that when I epoxy over this fabric, I want to make sure that that epoxy is going over the very top seam of the fabric and like really sealing it in, so that no moisture is going to get under that epoxy and damage the fabric, damage the tumbler, mess up the whole thing. Like, I wanted to make sure that I had a very, very, very good seal. So I left a little bit of room at the very bottom and at the very top, okay? And you'll see in just a minute. It's gonna look super ghetto, but it's gonna come together in the end. I promise. Okay, it's like me. When I'm getting ready, I look super ghetto with my Walgreens eyelashes, but then at the end, I kind of pull it together and I look like a higher end Target eyelash versus Walgreens eyelash. You know what I'm saying? Just trust the process. Trust the process. Okay, guys. So now what I'm doing is kind of just making sure that everything is super adhesion to the cup, adhered, and making sure that there's no bumps, no lumps, no lovely lady lumps. You know what? You know what's funny? My husband is sitting right next to me, and sometimes people are like, do you act like this in front of your husband? Yes, I do. He's used to it, guys. He's used to it. He's a very calm, sweet person, and I'm the Tasmanian devil. Why'd I say it like that? I sounded like freaking Speedy Gonzalez. Devil. So, but yeah, no, he's used to me. He just nods. Wait, what is it when you say no? Shake. No. Nods? Is this nods? Shakes. He shakes his head. Like, you know, he's used to me. Right, honey? He smiled at me. He better or I'll cut him. For legal purposes, this is a joke. Once I go ahead and cut off all the excess, I'm going to take my paintbrush with a little bit of Mod Podge, and I'm going to get right in between the fabric and the tumbler. What I'm doing is making sure that any pieces of fabric that didn't have glue on them and that didn't adhere, I'm making sure that I get them on really good. You want to press it as like hard as you can, because you don't want any gaps in between the fabric and the tumbler. Because if there is, the epoxy is going to get in there and it's just not going to be good. So make sure you spend that extra couple of minutes to just make sure that the bottom and the very top part are super duper adhered, okay? That's very important. And I know I sound like a broken record, but I know that there's always new people that find my channel, and maybe someone who's watching this tutorial hasn't watched my fabric tumbler tutorials before. So thank you for you guys, because you guys keep coming back, even though sometimes I repeat myself so much, and you're still here because you love me and I love you. I mean, listen, if recording a voiceover in my car on my way to the airport isn't love, I don't know what is. Ooh, I said what I said. Prove me wrong. Now that I know that my top and my bottom are secure, I am gonna go ahead and seal the fabric, okay? We're gonna do Mod Podge, and we're gonna do, so I normally do 3 coats, but in this case, I did 4 coats. I don't know why, just because there's gonna be liquid on this, and even though I'm gonna seal it with epoxy, I just wanted it to be super duper uber inky dinky secure. So I went ahead and did 3 solid coats, making sure that I was doing very thin coats, not leaving any thick streaks or anything like that, and also making sure that I was fully going over that very bottom part of the fabric, and making sure that I was fully going over the very top part, making sure that I was getting in there and sealing that fabric onto that tumbler, okay? So I'm not gonna put you guys through the pain or the agony of making me, okay, what am I saying? I'm not gonna make you watch me do 4 coats, because it's the same repetitive process. But as long as you are making sure that your coats are very thin and that you're letting them dry for like a minute or 2 before you go in with the next one, then you're gonna do amazing. And leave this overnight, okay? I never epoxy the same day that I apply fabric, because even if you can touch your tumbler on the outside and it feels dry, the fabric on the inside is still wet, and you don't want that to cause any sort of issues with your epoxy or give you any wet spots or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish off these 4 coats that I'm gonna do, okay? Thin coats, and then we're gonna let this sit until tomorrow, which I guess is already in the past tense because it already passed. And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna do a coat of epoxy, okay? I love you guys. I hope you're enjoying this. And I also hope the background noise isn't too bad. Oh my Lanta, it's the next day and we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I know that it looks like I have a ton of epoxy in this cup, which you are correct, I do, but it's only because I was epoxying other cups. But overall, for this teeny tiny itty bitty little tumbler, I think I only did about 10 mLs. If that. Even 10 mL sounds like a lot. I probably did anywhere between like 8 or 10 mLs. I did want to have really good coverage over that fabric. And as you watch my booger hook at the very top of the screen, I am pushing that epoxy up and making sure that it goes right over that fabric, the edge of the fabric, and adheres onto that actual tumbler to make sure that the fabric is sealed. Now, when you're doing that, guys, be careful, because you don't want to push up too much epoxy up in there to where whenever you are finished and you're trying to screw on the lid, it's not going to screw on because you've got a lot of epoxy down there, okay? So you just want to push up enough so that you're getting a really good coverage over that fabric seam, and then you want to do the same thing at the bottom. You really want to seal that in. So I let this spin for 24 hours, and then I came back and I did another coat of epoxy, even though it probably didn't need it because the fabric was, you know, it wasn't lumpy or anything, so I got good coverage with one. But I just really wanted to secure the tumbler because it's gonna be underwater basically. So I went ahead and did 2 coats. So this is 1 coat. I waited 24 hours. I came back and I did a second coat. After the second coat, I set the tumbler aside and I let it fully cure, okay? So depending on whatever epoxy you're using, it's different amount of days depending on the brand or whatever it is. So just make sure that you let it fully cure before you move on to the next step, or else that water is gonna break down that epoxy and then your cup's gonna get messed up, and then all this hard work will be for nothing, and that'll be sad. Okay, it's been 24 hours. My, how the days are flying when you're doing a voiceover. Hee hee. It felt like it was taking me ages to do this, and now that I'm doing the voiceover, I'm like, wow, how nice to be able to see it like just one step after the other. Any hoodly patoodly. Okay, so I am testing my lid right now just to make sure it's gonna snap in place, okay? You wanna make sure that it's on there nice and good, like squishy, squishy loo, squid-a-daddle-doo, squid-a-daddle-dizzle-doo. Okay, so that's very important. When you push that lid on, you should hear it click, like, no, okay, not like that. Nope, not like that either. Click. Not like that either. But you know what I'm saying. You're gonna push it down, and you're gonna hear and you're gonna feel that click, and you want to make sure it's really good in there. Okay. Then we're gonna seal this and secure this with epoxy. Okay. Now I am using fast set epoxy for this because I'm impatient and it cures a lot faster, and I was just tired of waiting. So I did fast set epoxy to screw on this lid. Okay, and I'm basically just taking a little margarita stirring stick that I got on Amazon, and I am just pouring some epoxy in there, and I'm making a mess. I'm a messy Bessie. I'm a messy Bessie, and that's okay because I'm just gonna wipe it right off as soon as I'm done. But right now, my main concern is to make sure that I'm going all the way around the rim. Technically, I guess this isn't the rim. It's the inside of the rim. No, it's not the inside of the rim. It's the underneath the rim. Okay, so my priority right now is making sure that I fully have epoxy all around, because I really, when I screw on this lid and I set it aside for a day or two, I want to make sure that it's like really adhered and really sealed, because once again, we're going to put liquid in this and we don't want to have any sort of leaks. Okay, right? It's kind of like when you sneeze and you pee yourself, or maybe it's just me, I don't know. Maybe it is just me, I don't know. But you don't want that to happen. Okay, you don't want any leaks, no accidents, no unexpected leakage. Okay, we want to make sure this is nice and secure. And also, guys, I would like to point out that one time this lady left a comment and said that my YouTube channel was not for children and that I was very inappropriate. Thank you, Susan, for your comment. Guys, I cannot control my sense of humor, right, honey? This is who I am. I don't know how to change. I could sit here and be like, hello, ladies. Next, you are going to pick up the tumbler and you're going to place the epoxy in the correct place where it goes. And then you want to go ahead. Boring. That's not who I am. And I'm so sorry. I hope that my sense of humor never offends anyone. Like I said, I open my mouth and stuff comes out. Sometimes I'm like, what? Like, it just comes out. I don't know how to stop it. So I'm so sorry, but I do want to let you guys know that when I do upload my YouTube videos, there's an option where it says, is this made for children? And I always click no. So my YouTube videos should not be popping up on little kids' iPads and stuff like that, because sometimes I say rim. You know what I'm saying? So please don't report me. Hee hee. Okay, so as you saw, while I was yapping away, I took a baby wipe and I was kind of just, hello, where did I go? I took a baby wipe and I went ahead and just wiped off the excess around the outside of the tumbler because I got epoxy everywhere, and I just cleaned it off. And now I'm going to take a little wipe. Oh my gosh, do you guys call it wipey or wipe? Maybe it's just because we're Mexican and we don't know how to pronounce stuff, but we call it wipey. But I guess technically the word is wipe. Okay, anyway, so once I've cleaned off the outside of the tumbler, make sure that I didn't get lumps of epoxy everywhere, I'm going to go ahead and take that acrylic lid and I am going to secure it, okay? I am going to push it down as tight as hard as I can. I'm going to make sure I hear that click, okay? And then I'm just going to make sure it's on there really, really, really good. Once it's secure, I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to let it sit there until the epoxy that I placed inside of the little metal underneath the rim, once it's fully cured, that's when I'm going to come back and pick up the cup again. Okay. I hope all of this is making sense, guys. Oh, I was going to skip ahead, but sometimes it's satisfying to watch people clean stuff. Ooh, look at me go. Guess who's back? Our epoxy that we used to seal the lid has cured. And guys, I'm using glycerine, vegetable glycerine. I got it on Amazon. I linked it in the description. And you need to make sure that you're using distilled water, okay? Do not use water from the faucet or from the river or from the well. I don't know where you live. I don't know your life. I'm not judging you. Anyway, so the best way for me to describe it is use 1/4 glycerine and then the rest water. Or even if you use a tiny little bit more than 1/4, but I used to do 50% glycerine, 50% water, and I just was not a fan. And I started using way less glycerine, and I like the results so much better. Okay, you guys? Now, once you've added your vegetable glycerine and your distilled water, you want to go ahead and stir it until it's no longer murky. You want it to be completely see-through, completely clear. You know, like the yoga pants from Ross. I said what I said. Come for me, Ross. And that's when it's completely clear, that's when you know that it's ready. Now, I don't want to tell you guys the measurements that I used for this cup. A, because I didn't really measure correctly because I didn't know how much I was going to use up. It's been so long since I've made one of these cups. And second, I had so much left over. So I would say take a little guesstimate based off the size of your tumbler. Mine was 12 ounces, so I should have known to do way less. But as long as the ratio that you're using is like 1/4 vegetable glycerine and then the rest distilled water, you are going to be Gucci. Okay. All right, so as you can see, it's turning completely clear. Okay, it almost looks like just water. You can't even tell there's any vegetable glycerine in there. Oh my gosh, there's this band that I used to listen to back in the Disney, and their name is Bush, and they have a song called Glycerine, and that just made me think of that. So pause the video and go to Apple Music and look up Glycerine by Bush, because it's a good ass song. Okay guys, so I'm gonna put a little bit of water in. Okay, I used to put my glitter in first, but I just don't like doing it that way anymore. So I like to put a little bit of water in first, or not water, but our liquid concoction that we've made, and then I go in with my little glitter. These are little neon Mickey heads. I got them at Britches and Bows on Amazon. Not Amazon, that was a flat out lie. On Etsy. But recently I've been going to their shop and it looks like they closed it down. But I did find, you guys, a substitution. It's literally the exact same thing, just from a different company. So I did link that in the description for you, okay? So I'm just basically going around and putting some Mickey heads in there, okay? You do as little or as much as you want. I didn't want to do anything else other than Mickey heads, but I could have added a little bit of chunky glitter and fine glitter if I would have wanted to, but I didn't want to because I really wanted the fabric to show. I didn't want it to be totally covered. So that's why I only did a few Mickey heads to be floating around, to not take all the focus away from the fabric. Another thing to be careful about, guys, is also, I know I'm making a mess and now there's Mickey heads in my liquid. Guys, this is just who I am, okay? I'm sorry. But basically, you want to fill it all the way right there, guys, right to where I pointed at in the video. If you guys do use fine glitter, make sure you don't only use fine glitter, and make sure you don't use a ton of fine glitter because it will clump up. You need a little bit of chunky to break it up. Okay, I learned that the hard way. My mistakes are helping me show you guys the right way. Okay, so now I'm going to take the little thingy-majiggy from Cricut to weed, and I'm just going to push in the little Mickey heads as much as I can. I'm going to take a little paper towel, wipe down that little surface, and this, oh no, I forgot to link it in the description. Guys, I'm sorry. I did my best, but I was trying so hard to get everything ready for my trip, leave the laundry done for my kids and my hubby, go grocery shopping, record for YouTube, and I apologize. But I did use waterproof silicone. I am gonna, let me stop this voiceover real quick because I think I might have a picture to show you guys, okay? One moment and I'll be right back. And if I found the picture, then it'll be the next clip before we move on, okay? Oh, you guys, I'm back. I have great news. I did take a picture of the silicone that I used, and I'm about to put it up next, okay? So please pause your screen and take a screenshot or take a picture of the TV, because I did not link it for you, and I'm so sorry. Also, my husband, Mr. Know-It-All, when I paused it to go see if I had a picture, he gave me a really good idea. I'm just mad that he had the good idea. Honestly, my husband is not all looks, okay? He's a smart dude. You're smart, honey. You're not all looks. Okay, so my husband said that a good way for you to get an idea for how much liquid you're gonna need is for you to pour water into your tumbler, right, by itself, and then dump the rest out, and then pour the water back out into the cup, so that you know roughly how much you're gonna add, how much you're gonna need before you add your vegetable glycerin so you don't waste. Honestly, if I wasn't, on my way to the airport and I had more time, I would go back and redo my voiceover and tell you guys that was my idea and like make myself look super smart. I said what I said and I have no regrets. Okay, here's the silicone. Actually, no, here's the glitter. The silicone is next. Okay, as promised, here's a picture of the silicone. Please take a screenshot or pause and I don't know. Okay, guys, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna carefully squeeze out that waterproof silicone over the water, but you wanna be careful not to push down, right? And to like make it like seep into the water. You shouldn't have any problems, but basically what we're doing right now is we're trying to create a seal, okay? My hubby's so awesome. He's so smart, you guys. I wish all of these were my ideas, but he's just a good looking man full of good ideas, okay? That's just who he is. And that's why I voodooed him and gave him underwear stew so he would never leave me. Okay, so this is the first layer of silicone. I'm gonna come back and do another one. But for right now, I'm just gonna put this one down and let it dry fully and try to get as much of a seal as I possibly can, okay? And this is something that I didn't do the first time I did my first tumbler, my first storyboard tumbler, and I regret not like knowing about this little trick or for my husband not to have like helped me with these helpful tips before, because this was a game changer from how I did my tumbler the first time, you guys. Okay, now I came back after it dried and I checked it and there was a teeny little leak. So I'm gonna secure it with just a little bit more silicone. Now be careful, when you are applying your silicone, you wanna leave a little bit of space around the center part because you're gonna apply a screw-on lid. And even though right now I'm getting it everywhere, I'm gonna come back and clean it up so that I don't have issues screwing on that stainless steel lid that goes at the very bottom, okay? So basically you just want to kind of get that silicone into every nook and crevice, and you want this so that the water doesn't get out, okay? This is just like an extra step that you're taking to seal the cup. And also sometimes, and I'm really talking about myself, the first time I did my storyboard tumbler, I filled it with liquid, closed it up, and then when I flipped it upside right, it wasn't filled with liquid all the way to the top. It all went and sunk into the bottom of the cup, and I was so disappointed. But this is going to prevent that from happening, okay? So once it's completely dry, that's when we're gonna come back and screw on our lid. But here I'm just basically showing you that you need to make sure that you leave that little space around it, like enough room for the screw-on lid, okay guys? And silicone doesn't take very long to dry. I gave it about an hour, and even that was too much time. It didn't need that much time. So now I'm back. The silicone is completely dry. I have checked it. There's no leaks. So now I'm ready to screw on my lid, okay? And we don't have to secure the lid with epoxy or anything like that because we have already sealed that liquid and it's not going anywhere, okay? And you just make sure you test it before you screw on your lid, okay? It's sealed, there was no leaks, and when you make it stand up straight, the liquid is all the way to the top, and that makes me happy. Okay, so now we're gonna screw on the bottom lid, okay? And I don't like the way the top looks or the bottom looks because obviously you're gonna see a little bit of that silicone at the bottom and you're gonna see a little bit of where I didn't take the fabric all the way up to the top, but that's okay because I knew that was gonna happen, but it's okay. I would rather have a cup that's properly sealed and that I know isn't gonna like take a dump on me in a week than to like try to make it as pretty and easy as possible and then like, you know, it's a compromised cup. So we're basically just gonna tape off the cup and we're gonna spray paint the top and the bottom, okay? Neon pink, because you know that's my favorite color. And also I feel like neon pink goes really well with the aesthetic of the tumbler. So we're gonna go do that. And then, that was me replying to someone, I'm sorry, wow. So after we do this, after we come back and it's spray painted, then we're gonna go ahead and do a very thin coat of epoxy and apply our glitter. I'm so excited. Just wanted to show you guys that I tape off the whole thing so that I don't get any spray paint over the acrylic part. Okay, I just want to get spray paint on the top and on the bottom. And I did neon pink, okay? And then I did a very, very thin coat of epoxy, and I'm just sprinkling my glitter at the top and at the bottom. Now, if you wanted to, you could have kept it taped off and then used a brush to apply Mod Podge and apply your glitter so that your glitter would have been in a perfectly straight line, but I didn't want that. I didn't want a perfectly straight line of glitter. I wanted to be able to sprinkle a little bit of glitter like right on that line, just to not make it be such a harsh line. But if you're one of those people that really likes that like structure and those straight lines, you absolutely can do it the other way. But I wanted to do it like this so I could sprinkle a little bit of glitter, make it cascade down a little bit, and just kind of look like a little ombre-y, I guess. So now we're gonna let this spin. We're gonna let this dry, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna do our final coat of epoxy, you guys. Oh my gosh, look at us. And also we're like 20 minutes away from the airport. So I'm so excited, you guys. I need a vacation so bad. I've got to learn to stop overworking myself, but I'm just one of those people that doesn't know how to stop. And I also like never want to let you guys down. I know you guys get excited about the videos, and I know you guys look forward to them. And so many people have reached out to me and told me that my videos have helped them through a dark place or through situations that are happening in their life, and that they need that smile, that laughter. And I just couldn't imagine someone relying on my video after a hard week and for it not to be there. So that is why I am literally recording this voiceover as I'm on my way to the airport. We did a final coat, let it cure, and here she is. She's beautiful. Oh my gosh. Please leave me a comment and let me know what you thought. I'll see you guys on Tuesday for the next tutorial. I love you. Besitos.